I didn't believe the stories at first. They were just rumors, local legends that people shared when they were bored, looking to spook each other. But looking back, I wish I had never listened. There's an old carnival on the outskirts of town. It's been abandoned for years. No one remembers the last time it was open. Some say it was shut down after an accident, but most people avoid the place because, well, because of the clown. I know, it sounds ridiculous. A clown, but you'll understand in a moment. My friends and I were always looking for something adventurous, so when we heard about the old carnival, we thought we'd check it out. The stories had piqued our curiosity. People talked about strange noises, flickering lights, and a clown who supposedly still haunted the grounds. We didn't expect to find much. Just an abandoned fairground with a few rusted rides, maybe some creepy remnants of the past. But the minute we got there, something felt off. The place was completely silent. Not a sound, not even the wind. It was like the air was thick with something that didn't belong. The Ferris wheel sat motionless, half covered in vines, and the booths were nothing more than hollow shells. But then we heard it, a laugh. At first, we thought it was someone messing with us. But as we walked further into the carnival, the sound grew louder. It was wrong. It wasn't a joyful laugh. It was something darker. And when we turned the corner by the old ticket booth, I saw it. A clown mask. It was strange. It didn't look like it belonged in the booth at all. It was too clean, too new-looking. Everything else around it was decaying, falling apart. But this mask, this clown mask, was pristine. I don't know why, but something about it made my skin crawl. I should have turned around then. I should have said something, but I didn't. When Mark picked it up, the lights flickered on, like someone had switched them on all at once. But it wasn't the normal carnival lighting. It was harsh, cold, and the glow cast strange shadows across the abandoned grounds. That's when everything started moving. The rides creaked. The old carousel began to spin. It was like the place came alive, but not in a good way. The air turned heavy and it was hard to breathe. Then we saw it. The clown. It wasn't like the kind of clown you'd expect. Its face was pale, its smile stretched impossibly wide, and its eyes, they weren't just eyes. They glowed, like they were alive, and it was standing there, watching us from the shadows. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. My heart was pounding in my chest, and I could feel the clown's gaze on me. The laughter, it was still there, echoing in the distance, but it wasn't funny. It was a sound that made your skin crawl. We ran, of course. We tried to leave. But the carnival, it wouldn't let us. No matter which way we turned, the clown was always there. Its presence, it followed us. We couldn't escape. It was like the carnival itself was alive, feeding off our fear, pulling us back. We found ourselves in the old fun house. The mirrors were cracked, but there was nowhere else to go. The walls, painted with twisted faces and grinning clowns, seemed to close in on us. We couldn't see the exit anymore. It was like the carnival was shifting, trapping us in its maze. And then the clown was there, in front of us. Its eyes glowing brighter now, its smile wider. It didn't speak, it didn't need to. We tried to fight. We grabbed whatever we could find, but nothing worked. The clown was always there, always just out of reach. And that's when I realized something horrifying. The clown wasn't just part of the carnival. It was the carnival. It had been waiting for someone like us to come along. And once you step inside, once you cross that threshold, there's no leaving. The carnival keeps you. It keeps you in the shadows. It keeps you forever. We never made it out. And as much as I wish I could tell you I'm just making this up, I'm not. The clown, it's still there, waiting for someone else to wander in, someone like you. It started on a Thursday. A single clown stood at the edge of town, just off Highway 12, where the trees break into the open field. He wore a classic red and yellow suit, his face painted stark white with exaggerated red lips, curled into a fixed smile. A few commuters saw him as they drove past. He didn't wave, didn't move, just stood there, facing the road. By Friday evening, there were more. 5 clowns spread throughout town. One stood motionless at the gas station, another near the high school parking lot. 2 were positioned in front of houses, perfectly still, staring at the doors. The last one had taken position at a 4-way stop. People started talking. Social media lit up with blurry photos, locals debating if it was a prank or some kind of performance art. Police were called, but the clowns weren't breaking any laws. "They're just standing there," the officer had said to an irritated homeowner. "They're not trespassing, just weird." Saturday morning, the number had doubled. 10 clowns, spread wider now. More in the streets, one on the playground of the elementary school, another in the center of the grocery store parking lot. People started locking their doors, avoiding them. Parents rushed their kids inside, pulling curtains shut. By that afternoon, the town had counted over 30 clowns. That's when things got worse. Around 6 p.m., a woman named Karen Hensley drove down Main Street. One of the clowns stood directly in her lane. She honked. It didn't move. She inched forward, expecting it to react, but it didn't. Frustrated, she swerved around it. The moment her car passed, the clown's head snapped toward her, following the motion of her vehicle, but its body never shifted. Karen floored it the rest of the way home. That night, people whispered about seeing them closer. The one outside the elementary school was now on someone's front lawn. The one at the gas station had moved to a family's driveway. No one had seen them move, but they had. Sunday morning, the clowns stood in pairs, closer to homes, closer to people, in front of porches, outside bedroom windows, down the long stretch of empty roads. More than 50 now. A group of teenagers, brave or stupid, decided to test them. One kid, holding a half-melted ice cream cone, sneered at a clown standing at the edge of the park. "Let's see if they're real," he said, his friend recording. He threw the ice cream at the clown's chest. The pale makeup absorbed the impact, the ice cream sliding down the front of its suit. The clown didn't flinch, didn't blink, but its head turned, slowly, unnaturally, until its wide painted grin was aimed directly at the kid. The group ran. The video cut off. That night, the town fell silent. No one dared go outside. The clowns weren't just in the streets anymore. People swore they heard slow, deliberate footsteps on their porches, but no one was brave enough to look. Then, at some point between 3 and 4 a.m., they were gone. Not a single person saw them leave. No dragging footsteps, no cars, no sounds. One moment they were there, standing motionless in driveways, in the streets, at the ends of beds. And the next, they weren't. By sunrise, all that remained were the places they had stood, the uneasy feeling that something had been watching. No one talks about it anymore. No one asks where they came from or where they went. But every so often, late at night, a driver will glance in their rearview mirror and see a painted face in the distance. Closer than it should be.